President Biden remains the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee in spite of growing pressure from within his own party to drop out of the 2024 race. But will this change before the Democratic National Convention begins exactly 1 month from today? Meghan Hays might have the answer for us. She formerly served as the director of message planning for the Biden administration. Meghan, good to have you. The president right now is battling on multiple fronts. He has COVID, thankfully mild. He's trying to run the country. He's facing additional calls to step aside. How would you describe his mindset right now?
Look, I think he's meeting with his advisors. I think he's taking it all in. I think he watched Trump's speech last night and, revigorated himself and the reason why he's running. And I think he is looking forward to getting back out on the campaign trail to go, take his case directly to voters.
I want to ask you what my colleague Tony Dokoupil asked Quentin Folks on CBS Mornings today, and that is Democrats can't have a policy or character debate when it comes to Trump until these questions are answered, until these concerns are quelled. What do you say to that?
Look, the president hasn't changed his opinion or hasn't changed his decision and hasn't said anything that would lead anyone to think differently for the past couple weeks since the debate. So I think that the people just don't like the decision or want him to reconsider, but that he's made his stance known and he's out there and he wants to be in the race. I mean, he just put out a statement about former President Trump's remarks last night, so that doesn't give me any indication that he's looking to step down.
But I know that part of the Democratic strategy is to not look like they're pulling the wool over anybody's eyes and saying, look, you saw what you saw, your concerns are real. I mean, that said, down ballot Democrats, should there be a concern that instead of the messaging being about what Democrats plan to do with a second term in the White House, that the question is still on whether he can do the job?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that it's incumbent on Democrats now at this point to all rally around the president and to take on the case of Donald Trump. I don't think that it does anybody any good to continue to have these debates for him if he wants to step aside. He's made his stance known. I think that the campaign and all the down ballot races, they need to start fighting Donald Trump and they need to start fighting for what they're going to do for the next 4 years, but also taking the case of what they did the last 4 years or when he was in office. So I think, it's interesting that we can either continue to focus on Joe Biden's age or we can move focus to Donald Trump.
But what information are you looking at when you say it doesn't behoove the party to keep having this conversation?
I mean, I'm looking at the president saying he's not going to step aside, so we can continue to have a fight amongst ourselves and continue to tear ourselves down, or we can take the fight to Donald Trump and we can move the focus onto him. So, I mean, I'm looking at the same information everyone else has, but it's ultimately the president's decision. He has said he's not stepping aside. So until, he says otherwise, I think we need to turn our focus to Donald Trump.
The chair of the Biden campaign also said resolutely today the president is not dropping out. Let's listen.
Absolutely, the president's in this race. You've heard him say that time and time again. Joe Biden is more committed than ever to beat Donald Trump. And we believe on this campaign we are built for the close election that we are in, and we see the path forward.
Now, I'm not trying to say that more, voices in this drumbeat for him to step aside are going to grow louder or more people. But already today, Meghan, we've seen more people add their names to the list. Do you believe that posture will remain if more and more people add to this list?
Yeah, I think that the president's very clear here. He's always been an underdog. He was, down in the polls in 2019 and 2020. People didn't want him to run, and now he's the president. So, I mean, Jen, I worked very closely with Jen on the campaign and in the White House. She's a very smart operative. So if they're saying they have a path forward and they're saying that there's a strategy for victory, I believe them. And that's, and she's out there, she's the best, and they're on the ground fighting. And that's what she made clear in that interview. They have a ground operation. They are talking to voters every single day. The president was in battleground states. Like, it's unfortunate now that he's in, has to quarantine for COVID, but he was out in battleground states making his case and taking it to voters. So he actually has not wavered in this. It's everyone else around that is trying to put holes into his theories.
People who have their own races they're trying to win. Meghan Hays, thank you.